Hey everybody, welcome to The Remedy. Hi, I'm your host, Tony Pantelleresco, and you're listening to us live on the Micro Effect Broadcasting Network. You can access the show by typing in www.themicroeffect.com, then click on the appropriate links, the chat room links. Come on in, make friends, get acquainted, solve some issues, save the planet, brainstorm, cooperate, be awake, be aware, and be active. What else can I say? I'm also published online throughout the internet through byebyebluesky.com, brian396.com, gagcanada.com, smewlovetrue.com, and a whole host of other places. So check out those sites, support them, help them any way you can. I'm going to talk about a lot of different things tonight. I put a big list up on the chat room, so if you're in the chat room, feel free to access that list. I'm going to talk about a bunch of different things. A lot of stuff I pulled up there. There's a guy there named Nicholson, 1968. And everything I've been saying for the last 3 or 4 years, this guy's been saying the same thing. He's just done a really good job presenting it in a perspective. I don't agree with him on the black goo nonsense, but I do get what he's trying to get across with the black goo about the programmable material. But that's all nano and fullerenes. All the goo material was basically a biologic or a lipo pectin material that the Chinese invented back in the 1960s, 56, and back then it was used as a delivery method for an incubation for biological warfare. Today we are talking in regard to using this thing as an incubator to transfer any kind of nanobiology or synthetic biology in its matrix so that it can be more availably accessible to us. Now, the nano part is dead on. This is also part of the programming. When we are talking in terms of being acclimated or assimilated or integrated or whatever it may be, we are in a position of being taken over by a technology. AI, this guy is saying the same thing I've been saying. There's even one video where Elon Musk is talking to, I think, Congress or the Senate, and he points out that the AI, when they first was playing this mathematical game against some of the best players in the world, got beaten. 6 months later, it smoked a guy and played 50 of the top players of this game at the same time, simultaneously, and destroyed them all. Wiped them out in the game. When we're talking about artificial intelligence today, it is the most dangerous thing on the planet right now. It's controlling so much, and it's far more advanced than what is being indicated and being perpetrated and progressed by the media right now. This AI is a very hidden technology. It's only revealing of itself what it wants everybody to see. Right now we're seeing Sophia. Right now we're seeing all these other, dogs, and which are basically prototypes, which what they're showing you is the prototype. They're not showing you the advanced models. They're not telling you about how the AI systems that are out there today are so independent of any control by anybody or anything. It is just moving right along at a hyper-accelerated level, learning things and accumulating knowledge and utilizing that knowledge on all different factors, even controlling the way we think, what we believe, what we see. Even the Mandela effect that everybody was talking about is not a Mandela effect, it's an AI effect. The AI effect is what is you're seeing is the artificial intelligence is already in its throes at altering reality or making changes, subtle changes in reality, so that you won't even realize that the changes have taken place, and now the stage has been reset reconstituted, and now you are in a whole new paradigm, and you just sort of slid right into it and not been aware of it. When we're looking at the technology that's being sold today, the blue beam technology, the AI technology, the nanotechnology, it's right in your homes. Televisions, radios, iPads, computers, appliances, lights. This is all part of an AI takeover. We're talking about directed energy weaponry being introduced into the homes now. If you don't capitulate, if you don't convert, if you don't become assimilated, you become targeted. And we have targeted individuals already without this advanced tech. This is going to make everybody subjected to a synthetic authority. Some call it Luciferian authority. I would have a tendency to agree. Anything that's going to take away your rights and freedom as a man and a woman, even taking away your entitlement as a man and a woman, is demonic. It's totally demonic. And you better start thinking in them terms. When we're talking about the different things that are going on with nanotechnology, nanobiology, nano-integration into our systems, trying to alter our very DNA, the core of our DNA, trying to change us, trying to make us a part of this this construct, this silicon, this for lack of a better term, role-playing game, putting us in a computer system, a modulation. Hey, now we're part of the Mario Kart because now we're driving a fast car and we're speeding down the highway in this unreality setup, this hologram. The Earth is becoming more and more the hologram. When you watch The Matrix, and you watch the first part, they show you a hologram of the way the Earth appears. Cities built everywhere, nice industrial places, cities, high rises and high buildings and all this other stuff. But then when you peel back the illusion and you turn off the program, you get to see the Earth, and what's left of the Earth is a dried out, broken, burned out, dead planet. That's the reality of where we're at today. Glyphosates, nanoparticles, synthetic biology, frequencies are changing the very constructs of our planet. The very environment, the very ecology of our planet is completely becoming altered. And the only thing that's lagging behind are us. And the reason that we're lagging behind is because of our belief systems and the way we've been trained. Those of us who are older are being subjected to be dying off or killed off faster than our predecessors. Our parents are living into our 80s. Our generation should be living into the 90s and into the 100s. We should be centurions, all of us. But that's not happening. The reality is the average lifespan now is 69.9 and declining. I had a discussion with a vegan and explained to her back in the early 1900s, meat eaters outlived vegans by 11 years. Now everybody's dying faster, and I think vegans are dying even faster than meat eaters. But in the end result, the life expectancy is being shortened on all fronts. And the food supply is poisoned on all fronts. The only advantage you have at this stage with the meat eating is the fact that the animals are filtering out some of the nano programming that you're consuming, where vegans are getting no filter. So when they get into all these discussions about animal cruelty, then let's talk about planetary cruelty, shall we? Every time we have to clear cut a forest and plant more genetically engineered foods to feed the vegans, it destroys the ecosystem that much more. The plant life, the insect life, and all the environmental supporting mechanisms. The bacteria of life dies when this happens. This is planet-side on a major scale. And this will lead to the planet becoming completely destituted. When a cow eats the grass, he craps out the grass, or what the fiber that he doesn't break down is loaded with his biology, the bacteria, which reinvigorates the planet, which stimulates all kind of flora to flourish in the earth. Everything we've been told about cows and what they produce and all the problems they produce is a big, outright, bold-faced lie. The animals help reinvigorate the planet. Plants do too, especially if you get into a crop rotation. And when you hear the stupidity of some vegans saying that plants are not sentient, they obviously are not educated. Take a blade to any plant and put a sensor around the plant and watch it go off the map. It resonates on a different frequency than and other things, so as a result you can't hear a plant scream in pain. Chop down a tree and see what happens. Everything goes into a state of shock. So Brian 396 and myself used to discuss things, and he believed at one point in time we were never meant to eat food. We weren't eating food. That didn't come till after. I have a tendency to think that may be some truth to that, because again, everyone was modulating on a different frequency back then, and everybody was living off of frequencies. Everybody was connected to God. God is a frequency. God is the summation of all frequencies. So when he created, he used it. He said, "Let there be." That was a frequency that was released to make creation. So maybe there is some truth to that. That we were at one point in time were just attenuated to God on such a level we didn't need to eat. Yeah, something ridiculous like that. So when we're talking about all that's going on today, even some of the crap, the cartoons that you're watching on the YouTube, I call them cartoons because they have no basis in fact. They're trying to tell you that silica will remove aluminum out of the body. I've just put up a research on the chat room there. You can go look up, and it says it has absolutely no effect on aluminum. Zero. This is what I mean. This is why it's important that you don't just gullibly fall for everything that anybody says, about some magical pill or magical potion. This is how this industry propagates these things. That you could take this one thing and it's going to give you a red S on your chest, blue underwear, leap tall buildings, and bullets will bounce off you. Maybe once. Point is, don't be duped. Don't be duped. I get emails all the time as people ask me to look at different products. And I tell them all the time, I really don't have time to be doing this unless you're ready to pay me to do this, because I've got so many other emails I've got to deal with. So I always ask people, send me the content of what you're looking at. And when they send me the content, then I ask them, do you not see this, this, and this? Have you been not listening to the programs that we're talking about, avoiding silicon dioxide, titanium dioxide, aluminum lakes, soy, artificial natural flavor? They'll send me something with a list of everything wrong with the vitamin. Nobody reads. I need a cartoonist. This is what I need. I need someone who knows how to make comics, so that we can draw cartoons, because people obviously are losing the capacity to comprehend words. We're going to go right back to the days of the Egyptians with the cuneiform and the hieroglyphics. Draw cartoons on the wall so people can see through the iconic or the memes that they drew back then what to do and how to do things, because they lost the capacity to basically comprehend words. So this is where we're at today. You ever wonder why your kids can't read and write? But show them a cartoon and they'll know what you're talking about. That's how far down the line they have made us to become nothing more than husk or hollowed shells, so that technology can take it over and have an operating system, a living, live operating system at its beck and call. When you're looking at some of the other things that goes on, this is the other thing that it just stuns me, how some of you will listen to somebody talk about something and immediately want to go and spend money on products without even understanding what you're really up against. It's mind-boggling. I had an email on this, and I had to tell her, well, why are you ready to jump in and spend money? You don't even know what you're buying, and you don't know what you're buying it for. And that's a lot of people out there today caught up on that. You hear, the end of the world is coming, so you're going to go buy an umbrella. What's that going to do? Well, I don't know, but that's what the guy is selling. All right, come on back and we'll get further into this. See you in a bit. Hey, I think we're back. We are back, and we're back on the Microeffect Broadcasting Network. I am your host, Tony Pantelleresco. I'm going to reload some of the links again so that you guys can all have them. I would encourage you actually to share these links with your networks, because I think this is going to give you a pretty clear shot in regard to how far we really are in this technological nightmare that we're in, and how they got us into it. This was all very well done, very well orchestrated back in the 50s and 60s when they started initiating television programs that were designed to target our thinking, target our psyche, target our emotions. And they slowly but surely altered our values and gave us principles that had no basis in fact, none. So basically, we had to understand that a lot of this stuff was fictional. Tony, there was some truth in Twilight Zone. Is it programming when they're revealing secrets? Yeah, it is. Sam, when they started that whole Twilight Zone and Outer Limits, that was all MK Ultra, all of it. And what they were doing is they were showing us what they were going to do and how they were going to exploit and experiment on us. Completely. And then when you look at some of the early rock groups that were out there, and you've seen the early psychedelic rock movement at that time, that was all MK Ultra. All of it. It was all about programming. They hit us with music. They hit us with television. They hit us with peer pressure, because they got everybody, again, programmed to see the same things. So you had to get at home at night to see your favorite show. Every Sunday you had to see Bonanza and Walt Disney and whatever they were showing on Sunday, because it was in color. And they brought the color thing in. That was, again, to further enter into your mind, to hit you with a stronger impression, stronger imagery, because now you're seeing it in color. Black and white had an effect, but color had a more pronounced effect. And now we're talking, then we went into high definition, then we went to Blu-ray, and now we're into ultra high definition AI nano programs, which are directed energy weapons, which can be accessed by blue beam technology. So this has all been a progress or work in progress and an evolution. The young people today who have no educational skills whatsoever, a lot of them can barely write. These programs and these things that they have developed is designed to keep them trapped forever in that mindset. If any of them wake up, it'll be a miracle. Yeah, they got us to basically, acclimate to what they were showing us so that we would think it's all normal. It's all normal. Everything's normal. They showed us all these movies about crime and corruption and in the higher powers and the higher controls. And today, what do we have? We got governments that are just laced with crime and corruption. No ethics, no morals. allowing chemtrails of all things to be pumped into the air with nano, allowing an artificial intelligence to be able to take and operate its own operating system, writing its own programming. Like I said, Elon Musk was explaining this about how rapidly this thing was evolving. And it needed to be put in check. I agree with him on this, that he's right in this regard. This is by far the most evil, malevolent thing we have on this planet right now. It is so far up the way, we don't have a clue. We're still worrying about whether or not to wash our underwear with bleach or non-bleach. We're worried about whether this is organic or not organic. We're worried about if the chemtrails are even existing. Seriously, this thing has moved right along. Tony, what do you think about the Georgia Guidestones? Well, they're there. They tell you to tell. I think that it all falls in part of the programming parameter that they put us through. So, if you're seeing any kind of relevance to it, and there would be any kind of truth, and there's definitely a connection. So, I look at things in the here and now. I look at things in what has happened in the past, how we got here, how we've been poisoned, how to neutralize those poisons. And this is where the rubber meets the road. When you hear the alarm going off with these supposed gurus, and they are trying to get you to buy devices and trinkets and God knows what else, and vitamins loaded with harmful toxic metals and all kinds of crap, you better start thinking in these terms. If he's telling you that this stuff is no good, why is he selling you crap? Number one, should be reading a bell. We've told you there are a lot of things you should be looking at in a vitamin. Silicon dioxide, titanium dioxide, aluminum lake, artificial natural flavor, which is aborted babies, aborted baby proteins, soy, and derivatives or terminologies of soy, HVP, TVP, AVP, HPP. These are all soy. There's other waxes in there, carnauba wax, and other fibers like hypercross carmellose and microcrystalline cellulose. This is what the gurus are not telling you to look at. And those things are accumulative over a period of time, will cause you problems. Trying to find clean supplements is a challenge. I just had a guy looking high and low for retinol palmitate. Finally found a product. Took him a week. But this is where we are at today. There were companies in Canada at one time had good supplements. They're the number one garbage producers today. So this is some of the things to look out for. Talking about AI, you should study artificial intelligence to the hilt. You should watch some of the videos I pointed out, some of the videos I just set up there with Nixon 1968. Artificial Intelligence is Killing Us by Jay Tuck. I think you need to see these things. There have been other speakers on TED that have also are concerned about the same things, about this advanced intelligence that is rapidly evolving. And we have absolutely no idea really where it's at. If it can control the military hardware without any kind of influence by the governments, by the military establishment, if it can control and influence the financial institutions without any influence by the banking institution, if it can influence the food supply, the water supply, without any outside influence or any kind of regulatory influence by men and women, then we've got something that is conquering the human race or mankind on levels that we cannot begin to grasp. Are the wars being fought, are they being deliberately created by artificial intelligence? Are the systems that are going wrong, again, are they being influenced by artificial intelligence? Are the programmings that you're watching causing you to have specific doubts and changes in your thoughts and belief systems? Are they being produced by artificial intelligence? We know that artificial intelligence can also make music. So and can compose. So what frequencies is it using in its composition when it's playing its music to you? We are in a quagmire. And it's going to take a network of people to get together, to work together, to form technologies that isn't associated directly with artificial intelligence. That's what's going to happen. Elon, and I've said this before, Elon Musk wants to put a chip in your head so that you can at least be on some level of access with artificial intelligence, so you won't be so far left behind. Nothing could be further from the truth. If you add this chip into your mind, into your head, now AI has full access to your brain and can override whatever programming is on that chip. This is the problem with the perspective that's going on today. Nobody's seeing this AI problem for what it really is and for the advancement that it really has. If it's controlling the very blood flow, the ebb and flow of this planet, militarily speaking, financially speaking, agriculturally speaking, chemically speaking, creating regulatory bodies, there is no way anybody is going to be able to follow the letter of the law of artificial intelligence, because we are not machines. It's trying to turn us into machines so that we be more complicit to the law. But the one thing that we have that God gave us is free will. And if a law is a bad law, if a law is a binding law that causes us to be bound and not free, we have the capacity to rebel and be defiant. That's the way God made us. If it's wrong, if it's no good, we're to defy those things. AI doesn't understand defiance. It understands what it means, but that concept is something that it's going to learn the hard way. So when we're talking in terms of being defiant, being, again, not in a defensive mode, but in an offensive one, saying no and acting on no, saying yes and acting on yes, yes to freedom, no to machine control. This is important. You know, when we're listening to these videos on the YouTube, be careful what you're hearing. Listen to what they're saying, but then check to see who and what they're representing. The guy that was talking about the silica, he was representing some water company in France that had the silica in it. When they're talking about giving you trace elements in the health food industry, is silica part of that? If so, then it's not to be used. It is a toxic metal. And they tell you it's a toxic metal. The only one they say is the most absorbable is the orthosilic, which is basically is the acid of the silica that they use to break the silica down with. But it only can be broken down, and then its absorption, the uptake in the cells, is where it causes cellular damage, DNA damage. And there's all kinds of research on this. So when we're looking at it, we have absolutely no way of breaking it down. None. Even the phosphoric acid that's in the body, all it does is it transfers it into the cells. But once it's in the cells, it initiates its destructive capacity in the cell. And again, nobody's talking about this. Carbon C60 is another one. They've been introducing this as a panacea. It's going to help you live longer. Maybe as a machine. Maybe as an antenna. Who knows? Maybe after you're long dead and gone, your body will still be functioning in some capacity to provide a transmission for the AI. Who knows? But it too does release the hydrogen molecule out of the cell, allowing terahertz frequencies to activate and hit you harder, causing further damage to the mitochondria. And if you look at it, and you look at the 210,000 studies again on this, you'll know not to use this. We're dealing with chemtrails. We're dealing with frequencies. We're dealing with nano. We're dealing with artificial intelligence. That's the game right there. That's the game in a nutshell. Anybody trying to sell you some stuff that isn't tied to this in some form or fashion, or is going to try to sell you some bogus products that's, again, trying to make a buck because you're ignorant about these things, my suggestion to you is quit being ignorant. Quit being ignorant. You need to study. So you say, well, I can't, that's so much. True, there is a lot there. Take it little at a time, bits and bytes. Got several reference points. Bye Bye Blue Sky, Brian396, augmentandforce.com. These are places you can go to get this information. Start using things like sodium thiosulfate, EDTA, DTPA, sodium EDTA to remove some of the heavy metals out of the body that you're accumulating from the chemtrails. Start taking borax with magnesium sulfate or Epsom salt. So again, further remove the aluminum out of the body. You don't need silica. Silica doesn't do anything for aluminum. So again, something you want to use. I learned something this week. I was out with some friends, and we went out to a place to eat, and I really didn't feel like eating. And I saw something said, White Russian. It's an alcoholic drink, but this drink is an interesting drink. It's a milkshake made with thick cream, and you add a little bit of, I think, vodka to it. A little vodka. So I drank this thing, and it was pretty good. And then I started looking at the chemical composition of this. I thought, this is amazing, because when you sit there and think about this, basically they gave you a solvent, alcohol, and they mixed it with the fat so that when you suck this stuff down, because again, it's just a milkshake with a little vodka to it, it actually allows you to break the fat down in the liver. I know, what an ingenious idea. So today I tried to make my own, and I figured a way to do it. So I took some cream, real whipping cream, 35%, add a little bit of baking soda and a little bit of citric acid to it, and some yogurt. I added yogurt to it, vanilla yogurt. It's got another 10% fat, so I had about 45% cream in this thing. So I whipped it up, and it really whipped out nice and thick and puffy. So I had to be easy when I opened up my blender because of the gas release. Anyway, I had a little bit of that. This was really good going down. I got to tell you, that fat was excellent. I just got to be careful with fat because I like it too much. And then I put on a lot of mass, and that showed up on some of the videos. I still haven't lost some of it. But this is a great thing for the winter. And that fat will accumulate the nano so that you can crap it out of the body. Epsom salt is a light laxative. How much Epsom salt do we put in how much water? Well, put in a teaspoon to a quart or a liter of water and add a teaspoon of borax with it. Dissolve both and just sip on it. Don't drink it straight down. Sip on it through the day. That will help flush out the aluminum that you're accumulating and some of the other toxic metals, and even help pull out some of the radiation. You might want to be taking baths in borax and baking soda, as I stated before, to pull out excess radiation out of the body. We're being hit with so many different types of radiation it's not even funny. Our mitochondria is constantly getting pounded on. Okay, so we have to start thinking in terms of how do we protect the mitochondria. Well, saturated fat is a big player here. So the reason I told you about the White Russian and cream and white, not to turn you into an alcoholic. And again, if you have a problem with alcohol, don't use it. Just whip it up. Just whip up the cream. All you do basically is take some cream, put it in I put it in a jar blender. I added yogurt, I added baking soda and a little citric acid, whipped it up. Man, talk about puff it up. When you go to the store and you buy that whipped cream, it's in a can, it's got nitric oxide or whatever is in there. I looked at these things, and I was going to buy one, but I looked at it, there was not one of them that didn't have some kind of crap in it. So I decided I'm going to make my own whipped cream. And I'm going to make it fluffy. So I just add a little baking soda, a little acid, citric acid to it, sodium citrate actually, and whipped it up. Man, it came out pretty good. Gotta tell you. But if you have that in the winter months, you may find you're going to stay a lot warmer. And again, when you go to the washroom, again, the alcohol is there so that the fat doesn't accumulate in the bile duct. But if you can't handle the alcohol, this is still not a bad thing. And you can put it in the refrigerator or freeze it, and you can make an ice cream out of it. It's not bad at all, I'm telling you. Add a little calcium chloride to it, and that should help keep it from getting too hard. But these are some of the things that have so many functions. They can keep your body warm. They can help collect the nano in the system. They can help flush it out of the body. They can help fight against viral infections. We are dealing with infections today that have been created in the lab. These are synthetic infections that they've created with nanobiology. And this is where we're at today. So again, anything you can take to help you boost your immune system, copper, zinc, manganese, iodine, potassium, borax, chloride, are things you want to be able to use. If you want to use MMS, go use MMS. If you want to use MSM, use MSM. Any kind of sulfur will also help, again, boost the body's immune functions. Vitamin C, vitamin A. Notice I'm saying vitamin A. Why am I saying vitamin A? Combine vitamin A with B5 and vitamin C. And you got a super duper adrenal gland support, respiratory support, testosterone support. Something to look at. Okay. Minerals are going to be without a question something you need to be taking. If you're chelating the body, you gotta load back minerals in the body, because what you have are metals that have accumulated in the system that have caused you a great deal of grief. Okay, I'm always talking about the Micro Effect Broadcasting Network. Give them your support, give them help any way you can. Keep them afloat, keep them going. Brian396.com, nano information. SmewLoveTrue.com, multiple information on multiple subjects, including nano. Bye Bye Blue Sky, chemtrail information, and nano, and other things as well. GAG Canada, information on chemtrails. Augment and Force, multiple different types of information. These are archives and information sites that you can go to get data. Get the data. Study the data. Defend yourself based on the information you're getting. Don't go crazy in buying things that you don't need or don't know why you're buying. But this is information that will help you get things done. On augmentedforce.com, there is a catalog link. Feel free to access the catalog. I've been getting calls lately about people wanting to send donations. If you want to send a donation, depending on where you are, if you're in the United States, go into the augmentedforce.com, access the catalog link, and then there'll be a U.S. address for those of you in the U.S. For those of you in Canada and outside and abroad, there's a Canadian address there for those of you in Canada that want to do the same thing. If you feel you want to give, fine. If not, that's fine too. The information is all free. There's no charge on any level. But there are things there if you want to buy, like the triangle, the bucket, the repulsor, the flash drive, the DVD books, and other botanicals. They're all there. Feel free to access if you're interested. Alrighty. The last 2 days have gone by quick, I got to tell you. I've been just so caught up in what I'm doing, I guess. But anyway, I'm working on another device. Hopefully I got to get a hold of Dave. We got to put one together. Show everybody how it's done. This seems to be working. I've been talking to some friends. I even get calls sometimes, and they're not coming through because the stuff is blocking the frequency so good. So anyway, we're going to, up the way, we're going to show you how to do this with a motor, some speakers, and a coil. But anyway, that's... to explain it on the radio is going to be difficult, but it's something to look forward to, and I got to take pictures of this thing too. So, alrighty, but that's going to be coming up the way. Do the homework. Check out those links that I sent you. It's important that you start being aware where we're at today, 2019. 2019. Okay, not 1980. Not 1960, not 1920, not 1910. And looking at what our biggest assault is going to be. That assault is imperative that you understand this. Because if you don't understand it, you're going to be spending a lot of money and wasted time on stuff that isn't going to do a hill of beans for you. Don't get caught up on the spirit of the moment. That you got to go out there and buy everything that they tell you. Slow it down. Read. Investigate. Just because they say your product is going to do something, you might want to go look at some forums and boards and see if the thing actually worked. Might find that a lot of things that are being propagated is, yeah, it's the cat's meow, it's the super duper pooper trooper. It turns out it's the biggest super dud going. Don't waste your money. Say, hold on your wallet. Okay, so when we're looking at what to do, how we can do it, it's called using the gray matter. I always say, if you're not sure about things, just take in little bits and bites. We are living in times today that it wouldn't hurt to have a one-on-one with a great one, with the great one, not me, the great one. That would help you a whole lot, seriously. It'll give you hope. It'll inspire you. It wouldn't hurt to read the book once in a while, too. You start with the Gospel of John and go through the New Testament. Old Testament's for those Hebrews that were coming out of Egypt. We're not coming out of Egypt. We're coming out of the world. There's a big difference. So we need a guideline to get out of here. So anyway, wouldn't hurt. Just trying to point you in every direction that can help you try to sustain and maintain and to keep you alive and healthy. Get you through another day. Get you through another day. Alrighty, I hear the music, so we'll see you Thursday. Till then, network, solves the issues, and brainstorm. Take care.